Joe on the radio. Brooke Goldstein is going to join us momentarily. I love telling you about Alex Kinsella over at Route 22 Toyota. They want everyone to know that due to this crazy landscape in the automotive industry, your vehicle has never been worth more. Boom, just like that. Alex told me he's paying over book value for all makes and models. So get over to Route 22 Toyota in Hillside, New Jersey, baby. Right now, you want to find out how much your vehicle is worth. Whether you lease your car, finance your vehicle, own it outright, it's worth more now than ever before. Alex says it doesn't matter if you purchase a vehicle over there, lease a new vehicle at Route 22 Toyota. They are offering overbooked value for any make or model. Supply is low, which means your vehicle is in demand. And our friends at Route 22 Toyota are making it worth your while. 973-705-8905. 973-705-8905. Get more now than ever before for your current vehicle. You could visit Route 22 Toyota at Route 22 West. It's right there in Hillside, New Jersey, or online at Route22Toyota.com.
Mike Gallagher, live from our Wall Street studios. Coming up at 10 a.m. on AM 970. The Answer.
Hey, Joe on the radio. We are on top. We hope to be and try to be on top of everything this morning. We have some fun, especially that first hour. We like to goof around a little bit on this Friday, but goodness gracious, there's so much to get into. Brooke Goldstein is executive director of the Lawfare Project. She's a human rights attorney, author of Lawfare, The War Against Free Speech. Brooke, welcome back to the show. Just great to have you with us this morning. Happy Friday.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be back on.
Well, I'll tell you, I have immense respect for you. I love your view of things, and I just have to go here, if I may, because as a Canadian Jew, Brooke, if I may, you got to tell us what you think of Justin Trudeau's accusation against the Jewish conservative Melissa Lantsman supporting swastikas. I was all over this. I could not believe he said this, but I mean, it must have just riveted right through to your heart. I mean, give us your take on this, if you would, Brooke.
Yes, absolutely, Joe. So first of all, I want to say that I fully support and stand with Melissa Lantsman. She has been victimized based on her ethnic, cultural, and religious identity. Yeah. And Justin Trudeau, this boy king, this person who's just chomping on the bit of fascism, who is destroying Canada right before our very eyes, went and used the cheapest tactic, Holocaust appropriation, for political gain. And to accuse a member of parliament who is standing up for the basic civil rights and freedoms of Canadian people to be standing with Nazis, especially when she is the granddaughter, I believe, of Holocaust survivors, is disgusting, absolutely horrific.
And it seemed like the House of Commons went after Trudeau. He never apologized. And there was that other young guy, I forget his name. He went up and he said, "Look, my grandfather, is still is in the bottom of the of the ocean outside of England, for crying out loud, for fighting in the Second World War." And Trudeau still didn't apologize. But let me start here though. We have an anti-Semitic problem in America and in New York City particularly. We talk about it. We're on top of it all the time. We don't understand why the politicians are not doing anything about it. How rampant is anti-Semitism in Canada itself, Brooke?
So I think really you said it correctly, that there is a rising problem of Jew hatred that we're witnessing right now around the world. And everyone must be concerned, because if you are a student of history, which I know that you are, it always starts with the Jews. First, the Jews enter fascism. And specifically with Canada right now, first of all, Trudeau has been condemned around the world for his very ill-worded comments. But having been born and raised in Canada, I'm a dual Canadian-American citizen, it was never a full democracy. Canada has always been somewhat of a socialist country. And now it is just chomping on the bit of dictatorship and fascism. And what is so scary to me is our neighbor to the north, and Americans must pay attention. The Prime Minister has invoked the Emergencies Act based on absolutely nothing. Okay, there is a threshold that you have to prove to invoke the Emergencies Act. its predecessor has only been invoked, I think, 2 or 3 times before. World War I, World War II, and I can't remember, there was another crisis as well. But this Emergencies Act grants power to Trudeau that you would expect coming from Putin or coming from Kim Jong-il or some other fascist dictator. The man has seized people's bank accounts. He is now arresting people on the street for lawfully protesting. In the past year and a half, he has destroyed the economy. He has shut down small businesses. As a Canadian, I cannot even fly to Canada because I have chosen not to inject myself, not twice, 3 times with an experimental vaccine. I am banned from entering Canada by air, and Canadians who want to leave are also banned from leaving. It is now a big open-air prison.
Wow. Isn't what Trudeau is doing, it goes smack dab up against Canada's Constitution, does it not? Is it legal what he's doing?
So again, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, guarantees that every Canadian has the right to freedom of assembly. Every Canadian has the right to bodily integrity, to freedom of speech. The invoking of the Emergencies Act without proving the necessity behind it, without proving that there is such a serious threat that the ability of the Canadian government cannot preserve its own sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity, that has not been proven. So by invoking this act, which has never been done, has never been done, he is creating a legal precedent that really puts Canada up there with, again, I hate to keep using this word, dictatorship.
That's right.
I can't believe I'm using this word when I'm describing my beloved home country.
Well, I'll tell you, this is transference, I think, Brooke. It's transference when he says, oh, you're supporting people who fly the swastika or the rebel flag of America. It's like, what was that? There was maybe one person that was probably planted by the, the feds, but it's transference because he is acting like it's like pre-war Germany. It's very, very similar to pre-war Germany. I hate to use that analogy, but I'm right when I say that, yes?
Well, look, he is accusing his political opponents of exactly what he is guilty of, standing up and against the mandate, which you see thousands and thousands of Canadians doing in a truck of protest that has inspired protests around the world, is the opposite of fascism. That's standing for freedom. And what's so significant to me is that he didn't even bother meeting with a single trucker. He had no meeting whatsoever with a representative of Canadians who are peacefully, lawfully protesting before he went and invoked this act. And I think that is extremely telling because he has no interest in solving this. He has no interest in representing the Canadian people. His only interest is power. And he knows the world is watching. He knows the World Economic Forum is watching. And Canada really, I think, now is the litmus test for democracies to see how they are going to handle with all of these peaceful uprisings happening. Because the people are speaking out against these archaic and terrible mandates, and that their voices must be heard.
Brooke Goldstein on fire this morning. We love you for that, Brooke, because I watched this. I can't stand. This is an aside. This is just Joe talking on the radio, Brooke. He always reminded me of the snotty kid in high school that always thought he was better than anybody else. Why? That's what Trudeau kind of reeks. And when he makes that reference, and then he doesn't apologize for it, and saying how you're supporting Nazi-like behavior when he is acting very much like a dictator. That's not too strong a word to use. How do the Canadians, before we let you go, Brooke, how are the Canadians feeling? They support this freedom convoy, correct?
Absolutely. And you know what? I think the majority of thinking, intelligent people understand that something is wrong here. Even if you do not necessarily support truckers gathering and, closing borders, which, by the way, the borders are open now. They're open. You still understand that something is wrong here.
Yeah, it's so true. And to your point, Brooke Goldstein, you're absolutely right. Trudeau should get up. He should have walked the streets. He should have walked the streets right up to the truckers and just had a little conversation with them and everything. I don't know why politicians got to play this game, but I don't know that how much longer Trudeau will be in office after this. Because you're right. I think public opinion and international opinion is going against him. Brooke Goldstein, thank you so much for always joining us. Keep coming back, girl, and keep fired up. We love that. Okay.
Thank you for having me and for touching upon the important issues, Joe.